back, fellow NASA Hunch teachers and students. My name is Miss Brittany Koger, and I'm going to be walking you through our second investigation station for our insect nano lab. This is the insect research station. So for this station, you're going to need a computer, an encyclopedia, some way to look up information. I let my students use a Chromebook. We went to Ducksters, we went to Google, and we Googled different types of bugs and what are edible. So here are some discussion questions to talk with your students. So you should have already went over what this project is and done the weight and measurement in our last station. We weighed and measured some scorpions and crickets and I think a mealworm. I can't remember what all we weighed and measured, but we weighed and measured several different dead, dried bugs. So we're going to use that weight and measurement for our end design as well, because we've got to know how big those bugs are, all right, and how much room they would take up and how much they would weigh, because it costs $1.2 million per pound of material, so we don't want to have too much money going up into space. So you're going to follow along with the slides. You're going to look up these different types of insects. So I did a little research for you. The first research station is to find what bugs are edible. Find out what bugs are delicacies throughout the world. And delicacies mean that they're a very good, important dish that a lot of people like. So think about what bugs are eaten throughout the world. I know crickets, mealworms, scorpions, grubworms. This sounds gross, but cockroaches, ants, beetles, spiders. There are all kinds of bugs that people eat throughout the world. And I know here in America, we kind of snarl our nose at that and we're like, ew, that's gross. But bugs are a good source of protein, and they're here and they're natural, and they're good for our body. Actually, they have lots of vitamins and minerals and things that we actually need for the growth of our bodies. So insects as food is going to be something for the future that we're going to be looking into. So answer those questions. What bugs are eaten throughout the world, and list a few dishes and what are in those dishes. Like you can look up escargot, which is a French dish. And you can type in the recipe and kind of tell me what is in escargot and how they cook those snails to make them good. I have seen over in Africa where it's a big grubworm. It's like the biggest grubworm I've ever seen in my life. And they wrap it in a banana leaf or some type of leaf, and they cook it in the fire, and then they eat it, and it's supposed to be very good. I have seen candied scorpions, candied crickets, all kinds of spiders. The scorpions are eaten in South America, especially because it's where they are more rampant. Like I said, y'all can laugh at my little itty bitty scorpions that I have in Georgia. Like I said, I know my Midwest people and my people throughout the world that have big scorpions are like, that is not a scorpion. But apparently these guys are very crunchy and very tasty. I've seen lots of recipes where they have candied scorpions or garlic and salt and peppered scorpions and roasted them. They're supposed to be very crunchy and sweet. I don't know. I've never eaten a bug. I am looking forward to doing a bug tasting in our next investigation station with Glenn Johnson. That's going to be very interesting to see. I hope you guys join in for that one, and I hope you actually eat some of these dishes and try some bugs yourself. Because that's part of the future. That's what we're looking into. So for this station, like I said, you're just going to be looking up these bugs. You're going to be answering the questions every single time. First question is, how long does it take this bug to grow from an egg to its full life? What is its lifespan? How long does this bug live? If we're thinking of sending them up for 30 days, will they live 30 days? Some insects don't have a very fast life cycle, so they don't live that long. So you really need to look into the lifespan and the life cycle of your bug. What temperatures does your bug need to be kept at? Like these mealworms, it even says right here on here, store at 45 to 60 degrees. So you can put these guys in a cooler area. Some insects have to have a lot of light. They have to be warmer. They don't warm themselves, so they have to use that light to warm themselves. I know crickets are not supposed to be cool. They're supposed to be kept at like for anywhere from 60 to 80 degrees. Not too hot, but not too cool. And they have to have, and like crickets can live off of a potato. When crickets are shipped, there's like egg cartons in there, like cardboard, and they have pieces of like potato or something along that line, an apple, that the crickets can eat on it, and they eat and drink from that. So we also have to think about what it's going to take to keep these bugs alive in space. How much oxygen, how much water, how much food, what type of food this bug consumes. So like these mealworms are in here with this like sawdust like material, and it's got calcium. It's not actually sawdust. It's a material that they can eat. So do we want to make our nano lab and what they're crawling around on something that they can eat? Are these bugs going to be just floating around in there? Are they going to be able to hold themselves to something? We don't want them just floating around in space. We want them to react normal as possible. So we could fill up with this like sawdust stuff that they use in the mealworms. But I talked to Miss Flo, and she was saying that mold grows rapidly in space. So they were looking at putting oatmeal in with the crickets and mealworms so they could eat off that oatmeal and get the water out of it, but it molds very quickly. So we can't have something that molds very quickly. Funguses and bacteria take off in outer space for some reason because of the atmosphere and how it is. So we want to be very careful with what we put in these nano labs. Now we are not going to be designing with all of the electrical stuff. We're just going to be designing a basic nano lab and what it's going to look like for these astronauts later on. But we've got to do the research. We've got to find out what bugs are edible, how to keep these bugs alive, how long these bugs live, how many of them can we fit in one space, how many of them does it take to prepare a dish that would fill up our astronauts, how many bugs do we have to eat to be able to get the protein that we need throughout the day. So those are all things that I want you to be looking into this research station. You are literally going back and just researching how to keep these bugs alive, how to prepare these bugs, and how to help our astronauts take care of these bugs for at least 30 days. We're starting out with 30 days. That's our goal right now, is to start out with 30 days. And remember, we are not sending winged insects into space. We're only sending insects that we could eat and have a benefit to our astronauts' health in space. So worms, grubs, crickets, mealworms, cockroaches, scorpions even. Can you keep more than one scorpion in a container? Will they fight with each other? These are good questions to ask. How many ants does it take to prepare a dish to where you would have enough protein to survive? So those are the things that you got to look into in this research station. There are some websites that are helpful for your research that you can click on, your teacher can click on and tell you how to research that. Just follow those questions, answer those questions as you go. And we're going to use all of this information in our last station to design our nano lab, which I said is going to be closer to this little cricket container than you think. So we're going to design that in the end. Our blueprint is going to be in the end. So this is just research. Do your research, get all this data collected, because we're going to use this data to help design something later on. All right, guys, I hope you have fun with this station. Do all the research that you can. Find a lot of information. Get me some recipes. I would love to see some recipes and send me some recipes, because me and Glenn are going to be tasting some bugs next. So I would love to see some recipes in there as well. All right, see you guys. Have a great day. I'll see you at the next investigation station. Bye.